Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We're gearing up for a significant severe weather outbreak to unfold this weekend from the southern plains to the Tennessee Valley. We'll get into all of what you need to know later on in the video, as well as a heat wave that builds further north during the middle and late portion of June. How warm will temperatures soar? And the storm track will shift north into the Midwest and Ohio Valley with much needed rainfall. We'll get into those details later on in today's video. But first up here, we do have a significant severe weather threat today across the southern plains and into the Arklatex across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting into Texarkana, Shreveport, and as far south as near the Houston region as well. The Storm Prediction Center has gone ahead and put a level 3 out of 5, an enhanced risk for severe storms there, covering much of eastern, northeast Texas, far southwestern Arkansas, and northwestern Louisiana, with that slight and marginal risk surrounding that as well. And going over the individual hazards here, we could be seeing some significant hail of over 2 inches in diameter across north and central Texas today, from portions of the Red River down into Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, the Austin, Texas region. In this hatched risk area, that's where we could see hailstones over golf ball size, so definitely move your cars indoors. And we could even see some isolated hurricane force wind gusts, especially down near the Waco and Tyler, Texas regions. These areas are more prone to seeing wind gusts over 75 miles per hour with the storms, and there is a 5% shading for tornadoes, especially along and east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area there, from Paris, Texas, down into Dallas, the Arlington region, and then getting down into Waco, Texas, as we head into this afternoon and this evening. And the culprit for this is a very powerful subtropical jet. We have a very tropical air mass moving in from the eastern Pacific Ocean across the southern plains that was feeding into all the moisture and instability. And as such, late this afternoon, early this evening, this is 6 o'clock Central Daylight Time, we will see widely scattered supercells developing across north and east Texas, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, around Texarkana here, and the Shreveport region. And these storms could be significant, producing hailstones over 2 inches in diameter, a few tornadoes, and yes, possibly a couple of isolated hurricane force wind gusts over 75 miles per hour. And these will drift off to the east-southeast toward the Houston region and into western Louisiana as we get through later on this evening and into the overnight hours. This is at midnight on Sunday morning Central Daylight Time, so definitely watch out there down toward the Houston region. With this rainfall, it is much needed still across East Texas, so if you do get under some of these thunderstorms, they will be a very efficient rainfall producers. Dew points will be in the 60s and 70s, so as such, these storms could be putting down 1 to 3 inches worth of rain across especially eastern Texas, around the Tyler region, getting down into the northern side of the Houston Metroplex there through your Sunday morning time frame. So definitely watch out for some ponding of water on the roadways and in the low-lying areas as well. Yes, all this energy pushes further to the east on Sunday. So yet again, gearing up for another severe weather threat Sunday further to the east across the middle Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley here. This is a slight risk across western Kentucky, southern Illinois, getting into southeastern Missouri, much of Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northwestern Alabama, and much of middle and western Tennessee as well. And there actually is a tornado risk, at least a 2% shading for tornadoes here across the Jonesboro, Arkansas area toward the Memphis region, and also Jackson, Tennessee as well. So definitely watching out for some tornadoes even on your Sunday. And you can see again, peak daytime heating. This is Sunday afternoon, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and we'll see widely scattered showers and storms developing. Not everybody will see severe weather in the marginal or slight risk area, but the potential is there for a couple of tornadoes, some damaging wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, and some quarter-size hail or slightly larger going through your Sunday afternoon and evening time frame. And even as we go into Monday, this starts to drift a little bit further to the south, more of a frontal type of setup here across the southeast, getting into the Gulf Coast states as we get into Monday. This stretches from the Front Range across eastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico through Texas, all the way across here to Georgia, the Carolinas, and also even up here into Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, even southern New Jersey getting in on the severe weather threat as we go into the new week on Monday, June 12th. But as we go into early next week, this is a very strong tropical air mass moving in. This is a subtropical jet if I've ever seen one going into early next week, and this will spawn even more severe weather as the main push of energy pushes across the southern plains early next week. This is on Tuesday, June 13th, and the Storm Prediction Center already confident in saying, hey, this is a slight risk for severe storms across southeastern Oklahoma near the Ardmore, McAllister region. And then farther to the south, across again the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Paris, Texas, the Shreveport region, and getting just to the south and west of Little Rock toward Texarkana and the Hot Springs region as we go into Tuesday. But look at the rainfall. As we go through much of next week, it will be falling in a big way across the central plains, the southern plains, but the hardest hit areas do look to be further to the east than we have seen them in the last few days across portions of the Tennessee Valley and the Gulf Coast states. In fact, look at some of these rain amounts, could be up over 4, 5, 6 inches across Tennessee, getting into northern Mississippi, northern parts there of Alabama, and northern Georgia. So the Atlanta metro area, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, getting over here into the Greenville region, Nashville, Chattanooga, Memphis, all these areas could be seeing some extremely heavy rainfall going through next week. But unfortunately, moving it further to the north, we will still see some rainfall in the Midwest and the Corn Belt and into the Ohio Valley, but probably not as much as they have down to the south, but still some isolated pockets of over an inch of rain here into southern Iowa, Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and parts of Ohio. But further north you go into Minnesota, Wisconsin, northeast Iowa, yeah, it's going to be hard pressed to get over a half an inch of rainfall through the week next week, and we do need it further to the north because the drought is continuing to worsen. We have a moderate drought developing, very widespread, starting here up into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, parts of the Northeast starting to get abnormally dry with some moderate pockets of drought there as well. So definitely concerning for that type of development as well. But going through the long range period, there is some hope for rainfall here further to the north. So looking at the temperature outlook first, we do have a heat wave that is going to be building in a big way across the southern plains and really much of the Great Plains going through that Father's Day weekend time frame next weekend and beyond through Friday, June 23rd, and we'll have more troughs moving in across the west, bringing some slightly below normal temperatures across the Rockies and the West Coast. Also a little bit of a trough here up into the Northeast in the I-95 corridor during that period. That could bring us some slightly below average to near average temperatures towards that Father's Day weekend time frame and the following week. And look at these temperatures starting on Saturday, Father's Day weekend. This is June 17th. Temperatures in the middle and upper 90s across central and north Texas. And yes, low 100s down here into the Rio Grande Valley, the Brownsville region, Corpus Christi. It's going to be heating up in a big way, and look at that on Sunday for Father's Day itself on June 18th. The 90s push well up to the north. We have the 80s building there into southern Manitoba, southeastern Saskatchewan, and much of the upper Midwest, the Missouri Valley. And look at the heat index readings as we go into Sunday, Father's Day. Yeah, 105 to 115 degrees for heat indexes Fahrenheit across southern Texas into Brownsville and getting into the Rio Grande Valley, Corpus Christi, and maybe closer to the Houston area as well for Father's Day. And it goes nowhere into the following week. This is Monday, June 19th, and all that heat will just continue to build across the middle of the country. We have more low 90s developing across Illinois, Iowa, getting into Nebraska, the Dakotas, Minnesota. Yeah, 90 degrees up here into the St. Paul, Minnesota region. So yeah, it's going to be very hot as we get in towards the middle portion there of June. But with the heat, we have to look at the storm potential. So we have more troughs moving in into the west. So that's where we're going to have the main piece of energy. That's where the highest confidence of precipitation will be up here into Montana, Wyoming, portions of northwestern Colorado, Utah, Idaho, and the western regions. But we'll see more northwest flow try to open up during that Father's Day weekend time frame, but more likely thereafter into the following week, the third week there into June. And underneath that ridge, we will be drying out out across New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana, with more sinking air across those regions. So with the confidence increasing and some more energy moving in across the west over top of that ridge, we get into northwest flow, and so the total accumulated precipitation during that Father's Day weekend time frame and the few days thereafter through June 23rd does encourage some hope, at least for rainfall across the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the east as we go through that time frame. And really actually a good signal through that last week in June from the 24th through the 30th time frame for some decent rains trying to come back across the Midwest and Ohio Valley and even parts of New England during that period. But we do have to watch the threat for severe weather as well. So with the building storms, we have to watch the building instability June 17th through the 23rd. It builds a little bit further to the north here into parts of the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley, and then kind of stays stationary up there, especially into the Central Plains and the Ohio Valley, getting through that last week there into June. So from June 17th through the 23rd, it is likely we see some clusters of showers and storms, more likely an hour or two, a day we see a couple of these storms that could turn severe. Not every single one of these days will have severe weather, but just the general pattern does support some MCS complexes where we could see some fast moving storms, mainly with damaging winds and large hail as we go through especially these orange shaded areas from the eastern Dakotas through the Minneapolis-St. Paul region, getting down here into southern Wisconsin, much of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and parts of lower Michigan during that period. And then that sinks a little bit further to the south, really focusing in here on the Missouri Valley, the Ohio Valley, and the Tennessee River Valley during that last week there into June, from June 24th through June 30th. Again, mainly damaging winds and large hail, but I cannot rule out even just a few tornadoes as well. Turning to the tropics, very quiet over the next 5 to 7 days across the eastern Pacific Ocean, so that is great news as well. And the same thing holds true across the tropical Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf. Really nothing happening over the next 5 to 7 days. And the reason for that is look at today, we have a very strong Bermuda high controlling our weather pattern across the tropical Atlantic right now, a very strong and powerful jet stream over the top there. And then all of these systems that try to develop underneath that just get shunted off to the west and lose their luster with all the wind shear in the environment. You have to have low, if not no, wind shear in the environment to get tropical storms and hurricanes. And we see tons of wind shear going through this weekend and even into next week, going through Tuesday, June 13th into the middle of June. That high pressure system will sink a little bit further to the south, really shutting off the potential for significant tropical development even as we get into next week and probably even next weekend as well. So no tropical weather to speak of, but if you guys like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, be sure to press the subscribe button down below. It's free to do, and you get all these detailed breakdowns each and every morning at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. I know I'm doing it this afternoon here because I had some computer issues here this morning, but I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers out there. Also, be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps out more than you know to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible. So I also appreciate that as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter for additional weather forecast updates, hit the description down below the video here and follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I do post on there fairly frequently, so definitely appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, be sure to press the like button, like I said, underneath the thumbs up button there. If you like today's video, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Saturday, everybody, a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.